Yeah, that one there. That's exactly, yeah, because of the ribbon and everything, yeah. And the feather, more or less because of the ribbon, I would say, I remember that. But for some reason, I thought it was like completely like white and black, but must have been just the ribbon. Close enough anyway.
Yeah, he's got a black one, but it doesn't have a. It's got this one's got the rabbit
Oh, that's
ears.
bunny ears.
'Cause it's
Okay.
close to, yeah, because it's close
Oh,
to
okay.
it's close to Easter, you know. Gotta wear
Oh
my bunny.
yeah, that's right. Because you gotta act like the horny bunny rabbit now.
Well, I'm trying to multiply, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I could never figure out how that works at all, but yeah, I guess so.
Well,
Well,
for kids, I think I can say I figured it out.
unfortunately, I know you were excited about interviewing Robin, but she had
Yes.
to cancel, which she told me that on Friday. I was gonna let you guys know on Friday, but I got busy and stuff with work and then other things. Then it was my niece's birthday yesterday, and I just kind of figured, well, I'll just let you guys know on Monday. I'm sure most either care or they don't. But we'll probably try to get her on again later. Because what I want to do is I want to do another Ghostbuster episode when the movie comes out on uh, DVD or Blu-ray or whatever,
Okay.
4K. And that'll I'm guessing, since most movies come out so quickly now, I wouldn't be surprised if everything's out before Memorial Day weekend. Because the movie comes out next Thursday, in February anyway, and it comes out worldwide. Well, everybody does their previews on Thursdays, even though they say it comes out worldwide on Fridays, but it's actually Thursday nights that they actually debut the new films. And then they give them about a run for about a month or so, and then normally within a month of the release date, everything comes out and on digital first, and then eventually a Blu-ray 4K release. So
How are you getting these Academy Award winners, dude? Like,
how?
for real, this Bill guy, I did my homework today, and
Oh, good.
you
Well,
don't know how much he's been involved in, like just SpongeBob, Men in Black,
yeah, it's not just a Ghostbuster story. It's just
yeah,
more.
Dune, The Incredible Shrinking Woman, Inner Space. I mean, there's so many.
Well, it just the idea of just trying to. I'm doing this, like I said, mostly for you guys because I've interviewed Bill before back in 2014, but it was all phone interviews. And I thought, well, let's do a Zoom call. That way, first of all, then we know that we actually are talking to the person who we are talking to. And then secondly,
Yeah,
it's just excited for all you guys to experience something, something cool. Then you can say, you know what, it was
this
worth
guy
it.
is so cool. Like, just I looked all this up. Like, he even does instructional videos on how to put creatures together, animated creatures.
Oh yeah. Well, you
What?
did do your homework. Holy shit. Hi, John.
What?
How you doing there?
What?
We can miss
I was just saying I tuned in and all I
You
heard
remember
you
the movie
guys
Spaceballs?
saying was you guys were talking
I'm sorry, it
about
might be
cool
loud.
guys, and I thought, oh, I tuned in, perfect timing.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're cool to us. Don't worry.
How are you guys?
Oh,
Awesome.
doing all right. I mean, just kind of had a long, well, not really a long week, but it was just kind of, it was busy on Saturday at the casino. I mean, I guess it was like a youth basketball at Red Lake or a basketball game at the Ralph Engelstad Arena. So it was fucking busy. Everybody was there at the casino afterwards.
That's what I forgot. I forgot to bring a snack.
Aw.
Mhm.
I'll be
You
your
should see
snack.
what I got to do on Saturday then.
But
I know,
my
you got to go to
grandkids
Frozen.
Disney on Ice
Or
at the Fargo
Disney
Dome.
on Ice. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was going to ask you about. Well, I was going to ask you, when we get into the show, what your thoughts were on the journey. Or I mean, you can probably tell us right now because I know you went to that show because you posted photos about it.
I thought it was fantastic. It's so many people, all they talked about was going to see Journey tonight, and I'd say, well, I'm going to see Toto, and I love them both, but a lot of people since then that I've talked to didn't realize Toto did the songs they did and how good they were. I kept telling guys about their guitar player, Lucifer. He's awesome, but it was a really, really good show. I was really happy.
You didn't mind that Journey?
Just two more off my bucket list.
You didn't mind that Journey was still uses that Asian guy that's not Steve Perry?
You know what? He's been with him 16 years now.
Yeah,
He's been with him way longer than Steve Perry was,
yeah, but
but it's I don't care. He sounded good. His voice was strong. Yeah, it's not Steve Perry, but how many bands that have been around that long that are still touring are all original, right?
well, that's true.
You
But
know, it'd be nice if the singer was original, but
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I was gonna go to that too because I heard about that they were coming, but I was just like, come on, yeah, because I know they did stuff with Steve like recently or within the last few years. They got back together
Well, they were
or something.
talking like and teasing people, but you know, the main factor of the whole deal is I got my tickets for free, so I'm
Yeah, well,
for
there you
sure
go.
gonna go to a gig like that. Yeah, I still got some friends in iHeart, so
Oh,
that's
there
kind
you
of
go.
nice.
That's good. No, that's good though. That's
No, but I'm sorry I missed last week. My wife has gone through like four. Well, Mama T knows Lori's been through like 4 or 5 neck surgeries in the last 5 years, and now it sounds like she's probably going to have another one. We
Oh.
went in for that MRI. Now she has to go see the neurosurgeon this Friday, and so I'm guessing she's going to have another surgery. So we'll
wow.
just see what happens.
Well, that's hey. I mean, I appreciate you letting me know at least. I mean, regardless, because
Very warm, but
we didn't really have much going on. I mean, we had the guest that I was going to have. We're going to do something different with that guy. I want to do like a maybe we're closer to Memorial Day weekend, maybe or closer to it anyway. Do like some type of veteran deal. Just I know that's not what our style, but I figure that would be fun, at least.
Yeah.
So we'll
Well,
figure that
Sean,
out.
you gotta work on Friday. You have to work on Friday, Sean.
Yeah, I'm scheduled. What's going on?
Okay. It's our 4th anniversary at GFBS.
Oh,
We'll just be hanging around the studio all day. Doors open, beer fridge should be full.
Where
Let
is this
people
at?
in and out. Whoever wants to come and check it out.
Where-
We'll go on the air on and off all day. So yeah.
Where's this
Grand
at?
Cities Mall, baby. At the Grand Cities Mall in Grand Forks.
yeah, I
The
know.
old Kmart Mall.
I know where that is
Yeah.
because we talked about that before.
Bobby's been in there. Bobby gigged in there. Shit, tell him to bring a flat top and we'll put him on the air.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
We'll
that'd
be
great
there
to participate because
during the day.
I was gonna ask you about because now that we're now that time change has happened and we're gonna have more longer days here coming. That what I was talking about earlier this season about possibly coming to your studio on maybe like on a Monday night, like maybe once a month or whatever, or whatever, and get that type of scenery kind of like so.
Yep.
Because that's I want to do
Monday nights would work. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, you said you're gonna be busy during the summertime. So what? So is it just before the Memorial Day weekend that you're good, or is it like sometimes on the summertime? Because I want to do something in the summer too.
My busy season usually officially starts the very beginning of May, sometimes April. That's when the racetracks open. I also do a lot of freelance announcing at different racetracks besides ours on Friday. And
Okay.
we do have a Tuesday race this year. We've got 2-day races, 3-day races. And then I competitive fish on Wednesdays and fish tournaments and stuff. But yeah, the summers are when I'm busy.
Well, I mean,
Get asked to do a lot of.
are your Mondays still free though? Because Monday's always going to be
No,
the day.
my Mondays are the one day I usually have, unless it's something like doctor or
Okay.
with my wife or something like that. But Mondays is usually a good day for me, unless we have a live gig somewhere, which usually isn't very often on a Monday either.
Because I was thinking that maybe on these certain Mondays or whatever that I'll get to if Tanya's not busy with the bar stuff all the time on Monday nights or whatever, maybe she and I can go to your studio and do a show or two once in a while, every so often. Well, you
Sure,
gotta be there too,
sure.
obviously, but it's like, and we got Sam and Nancy.
Yeah.
pretty much doing the same way how we're doing it now, but I just want to feel what it's like in a professional field because I just feel like your studio is the one that we need, you know. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I'm just like, man, you know, because you got everything all set up so
Ah,
cool and everything. I'm so jealous, you know.
it's cool, but it's not. It must have been 120 in there today.
Oh.
I know, it was warm today.
All the lights, all the lights we have, and the computer monitors and everything. We don't even turn our heat on in our studio, and it's usually 76, 77. We run the AC there in the winter. That's how
Oh,
hot it
good.
gets in there.
Well,
Yeah,
I
we have to keep
imagine.
little
The equipment
we
gets hot.
keep little fans on our table for people because we got a Catholic priest that comes in, Father Stephen Mechanic, God bless him. I love the guy. He'll come in and he comes in with the full garb. I mean, he still does his sermons in Latin, you know, but
Oh,
he
wow.
comes in with the full garb on, and you should see him sweat in those lights. It's funny.
Sweat the hell out of them. I'm trying to tell you. Fair enough.
Yeah, good guy.
All right, well, we'll get started now. I don't know where Antique Man is, but we know how he makes his entrances and whatever, so no big deal. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another great edition of Renegade Radio. We're on season 2, episode number 10. Already now in the second week of March already. For crying out loud, I can't believe it's already March what 11th already. My niece just had her second
Yeah.
birthday yesterday, so she turned 2 years old. Literally yesterday on Mario Day, so we had a big old party for her before I had to go to work and stuff and over Thief River. But yeah, it's March 11th now, and second week of March, and we're getting closer and closer to the. Well, I'm excited about this. I don't know how excited you guys are, but I know I'm excited. Another week from Thursday, I'll be going to the fall cinema with some family, and we're gonna go check out the new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire movie. And I know what was it? The River Cinema is also gonna have it too. But I'm glad that fall
Yeah.
cinema's getting it, so at least I don't have to go so far. Anyway,
Right.
we're excited about it, and we're so excited about it that tonight's special guest. Well, we were supposed to have 2 guests that have to do with the Ghostbusters series because we're technically also celebrating the 40th anniversary of the film series because it was 1984. Well, it'll be June
Yeah.
8th, I believe, 1984 when the movie came out in theaters. And so not yet quite the 40th anniversary, but it's getting close anyway. We consider it. I mean, it's 2024, so whatever. It's been 40 years. So tonight we got a very, very special guest. We were supposed to have Robin Shelby, the original Slimer from Ghostbusters 2 on, but unfortunately she told me on Friday while I was at work that she had other things that she had to do. So I guess we weren't as important on her list as anything that she had to do. So it's okay though. I don't take it too personal. I'm glad I backed this up a little bit because I wasn't going to, because I remember last week I said I was going to be done with guests or set up guests and let you guys take over, take the realms anyway. But I wanted to see if I could make this happen, at least to see if it could happen, because sometimes people will get so busy, especially with this time of the year, with in California anyway, everybody's getting busy with cons and stuff and doing that sort of thing. Well, I was able to get the guy, the original guy, William Bryan or Bill Bryan, who was really the guy that was he was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the original Ghostbusters. At about 6:30 here, we're gonna have a chance to talk to him here on this episode. So should be pretty exciting. I know I'm excited. So we got myself, we got Mama T, we got John Roberts, we got Screaming Sam and Mad Dog, and well, I'm sure Antique Man will be here sooner enough, as he always is. So how you guys doing tonight?
Good.
I got a
Was that
question
not
for
a
Mad Dog.
intro?
Did the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man have anything to say in that movie?
Well, you use your imagination because you have to realize how big of a character. Yeah, how big of a character that was, not just in that movie, but like look at what
Yeah.
they're doing now. I mean, now it's in the mini puffs and everything. It was used in the cartoon, and it's bigger than you think. The character, but
Yeah, he
no,
was.
I-
Hey, I got
story. Wasn't he like 10
I got a
years old?
question.
I knew that was coming.
What's going on now, John?
Hey, I got a
Say-
question. I got a question for Mad Dog.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to grow this, man? I envy you.
Me and
All this.
my brother and I grow hair pretty quick. Like this not too long. I mean, I can whack one out pretty quick.
I've heard that one before.
Me
Yeah.
too.
That's
Wow.
where I
So
come in.
that's what you kids are calling it nowadays.
That's what my brother
Yeah.
says. My brother likes masturbation. We can whack him
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, whack one off, why not, I'm sure I'm sure
Well,
the audience.
I got a question for John Roberts.
Yeah.
John, how tall are you?
Yes. I used to be 6'2". I've probably shrunk a little bit with all the back and knee surgeries, but yeah.
I didn't realize you look like you're a short guy when you're on camera. I don't know
Oh, do
why.
I?
Yeah, you look short on the
Wow.
No, I'm 6'2".
Wow.
I weigh
Wow.
about 230 probably.
I saw your picture
Somewhere
today with your
around
son.
there, so. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that kid
Holy
can grow a
shit.
Conor McGregor in like 3 days. But I can't. I've been working on this shit for like 42 years, and this is about all I get.
Yeah, I feel you. Because like you for myself, it took me like 20 years to grow a full beard. It was always
I just
mustache.
shaved my full beard off. I like this. I'm gonna stick with this. I
Yeah,
dyed this tonight.
you look like a new person.
Beard off on
The older I
Monday.
get, the more mine comes in too, you guys.
That's right.
And then you give everybody mustache rides. And
I don't
stuff,
know.
whatever that is.
I don't know if it's because of the native blood I have in me, but I have like no hair on my arms. I hardly have any hair on my entire body, except I'll never go bald. But I can't grow a beard. I don't know.
Oh my
Yeah.
I look like
I got nothing.
my shirt off.
Blinded. Yeah, me either.
If I take my shirt off, I look like the first person who walked up right in my family.
Wow. Like I said last week, when you should have been tanning outside, it was nice outside, then everybody just get a whole look at you. Right? Completely just remember nothing but a Speedo. I tell you.
Yeah.
Just make sure you warm up
Anyway.
first.
I say 3 weeks I could grow a full beard.
Wow.
Yeah, it probably don't take you that long. Yeah, I guess some people just have that natural way of doing that, I guess, Some people can look like grizzly bears and some people
When I
look
get the mustache, I guess what I do, I grow a full goatee, and then I'll shave the middle out, and then you'll get something like that. But to grow this probably take me about, like Joey said, good.
like
Maybe I'll grow mine now the rest of the summer and see if I can piss my wife off.
There you go.
And my wife absolutely hates it. She told me she'd like it, I'd shave it off tomorrow, but she hates it.
Yeah.
Grow it.
Jeez.
Now she's
I
gonna watch
used to have
it.
hair like Screaming Sam. My hair used to be that long. And I keep threatening her. She's never seen me with long hair. We've been together for over 30 years. I used to have hair like you, but I've been wearing a flat top hiney forever now. And I could still grow my hair out. And I keep threatening her that I'm going to do it. She's
should
just like,
do it.
no, you won't. No, you won't.
Well, you, John
it.
Roberts, always look like you're a military guy. Just because of the style of haircut that you have, the flat top. Or
It
whatever.
just, the shit
you
just
serve.
gets in the way.
Hey, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
always
it
you
just
could
gets-
always grow it with the excuse that you're going to donate to Locks for Love.
I could.
Tell her you
Then
wanna
you'd have
look
to follow
I
through
could
with
put-
it.
You can tell her you
Yeah, I
want to look.
could put it in a
hockey
ponytail and piss my mom off like I did 40 years ago.
You got to get that hockey mullet going.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, back
Yep.
then we called that. We all had that hairstyle back then. It wasn't called a mullet back then. We called it Canadian, because all of us hockey players had the same Canadian. You wanted those locks to flow in the wind outside your helmet, And yeah, we called it Canadian. Mullet wasn't a word.
Yes. And then when you say what does it say? Party party in the back, or what was it say?
Business in the front, party in the
Business
back.
in the front, party in the back. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
business in the front, party in the back.
I knew it had something to do with party, but I just wasn't sure. I've heard this saying before. Somebody said that to me before, but I didn't know what it meant. I just like, oh, that must be a saying, a classic saying there. But yeah, it's man, I tell you, it's like the weather today. God, I think we got almost 60 degrees here in Brooks anyway. How about you guys?
What
62
did we
here.
get today? How many degrees? How many degrees we go up to? I'm sorry. I'm just talking about-
Oh,
I bet we were like 50, 55, 60. I was home all day. I was sleeping.
Yeah,
I went out
that's-
to, I went out to
60
breakfast.
here.
I went out to breakfast and man, I'm gonna tell you something. Like 2 weeks ago, I busted my ass and I did everything I was supposed to do. I ate right. I lost 5 pounds last week, right? This whole week, I even did better than last week. I only lost 1 pound. I was so depressed. I started crying. I was gonna give up.
That's the way it goes, though, man. That's the way it goes.
I just couldn't believe
I've
1
been
pound,
there.
1 freaking fucking motherfucking pound.
I'm stuck on 10 pounds for 3 weeks now.
it is.
I'm to
I'm to the
just can't
point
believe
I
it.
don't
Pounds
give a
once in a
shit
while.
anymore.
I ate breakfast at 10 o'clock and I haven't eaten since. I won't eat now. I won't eat till tomorrow. Dinner
Sometimes,
problem.
I mean, you're starving your body of the protein it needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to have a pork chop like I do. I'll have a couple tonight. There's one in every can.
I keep
I used
trying.
to
Like,
do all that stuff.
I want to just show you something real quick. The pink part on his book is all the exercises I do, right? Now that was 2 weeks ago. This was last week, which was even more, and I lost 1 fucking pound.
That's because muscle weighs more than fat. That's all it is.
I can
Still making progress. Measure inches.
I got about 6 of that.
What
I
the
meant
heck?
that you've lost,
can
not gained.
lose-
You're excited.
Let me tell you something. They say that
Yeah.
every time you lose 20 pounds, you grow an inch. So I don't even weigh myself anymore. I just measure my pecker to see how much weight I lost.
Wow.
You know, that could be
I was gonna
accurate
say-
because, you know, that thick fat in front of,
the
No,
fupa.
it's not
there, you know.
possible that's accurate. That's accurate.
You mean the fupa?
fupa. Yeah, that thing.
I
Wow.
can lose
Smaller
a
that gets, you
pound
know.
in one sitting, dude. That's nothing. I can lose a pound in one sitting.
Jeez.
I can lose a pound after one big fart. Here, I tell you. No, I'm just.
Probably in the
I
morning.
wake up in
right?
the morning. I wake up in the morning. I go to the bathroom, make sure I'm drained. I get on that scale this morning, man. I thought for sure I was in the 5-7 pound range, and I'm telling you, man,
You do everything wrong. You shouldn't weigh yourself but once a week.
Yeah, there
I
you go.
did every Monday.
No.
But listen,
Been too hard on yourself.
I've been fasting 20 hours a day, and I did that
Oh,
helps
good.
because it works. So it works. I mean, this is the worst week I had in a while.
Yeah, but I think it gives you
Fasting
too much-
works if you do it
kinda
right.
gives you- Kind of gives you too much anxiety. It seems like, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Are you
and you're
feeling
probably not an
better?
anxiety
Are
type
you
of
feeling
person.
fitter, healthier?
Then I shaved and dyed this beard today. I left the shit on it for like an hour and a half,
That's
and
your
look, it's still gray in it. It's still
What-
gray in it.
Man,
What the hell?
So I
you-
ordered new stuff for darker. I'm gonna make it black.
oh,
Oh yeah, but
Boy,
shocking.
black is
Hey,
a.
On display right there.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
that's just black spray paint.
Yeah. Well, the time that
Fucking
you had
gray
that
hair.
light stuff you
I
had
got
there
gray
before
hair and
was
dye.
Match the drapes.
Jesus Christ. Does it match the hat or whatever that you're wearing? Does the carpet match the hat you're wearing? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah,
Anyway,
this month alone, I feel like it's just like, you know, it's finally. I'm just glad that hopefully in our area, at least, hopefully winter will be done now, because it would be nice to be done with that for a little while, you know.
Yeah, but we've already had bad snow in April up here in Ohio. But it's
Oh,
been mild this year. Thank God. It's been mild.
well, because I mean, I'm sure. Well, John, I'm sure, and maybe Tanya too. You probably, your Mama T, you probably remember. Back in '97. Let's go back to those years or whatever. The big old flood and everything, and how much of an impact that happened in our area.
Yeah.
Not just with Grand Forks, but like it started off like a big storm, and then it was like, what it turned into like an ice storm, I think, a little bit too, and
Yeah,
then just
yeah.
like
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
have power for 5 days and then the flood hit. But you know
We-
what? Last year we had snow in our tree line out here till the beginning of June. The snow mountain in Fargo was there till the beginning of August.
oh,
So we had a lot of snow last year compared to this year.
How could that
Now,
possibly-
in my place, everything's underwater here because the
Oh,
frost.
sure.
There was no snow, so the ground is froze so hard that
Oh, so you gotta have a canoe or whatever to get to your house or whatever.
well, pretty close. Yep.
Well, you live on oceanfront property now. Is that nice?
Oh yeah.
I gotta give
Yeah, almost every spring.
I gotta give props for props are due, not change the subject, but I have to admit, this is the best we ever saw Mad Dog look since he started with us. This is the best you looked. I mean, your face looks thinner, your mustache is actually trimmed nice, and you don't have that blurry background. This is the most professional you looked in a while. I just have to,
Also,
because I
very-
tell you like it is. I
Yeah.
tell you when you suck, and I tell you when you do good. Look at Mama T. Yeah, that's a nice hat.
That's going for that Beetlejuice.
She
theme.
matches.
Yeah, her
That's it.
drapes
I'm
match.
going back to my pink cowboy hat. You just did it now.
Her drapes match every carpet. I tell you. No, I'm just kidding.
But you
I
all look
look at
good. I'm
Mama
saying
T's
you all
shirt, I
look
get
good. Though.
busy.
You all look good.
Oh. Well, I wear my Teen Wolf shirt. Everybody support Teen Wolf. The original Teen Wolf, not the new one.
How come you ain't got a Ghostbusters shirt on?
I
have
have some Ghostbuster shirts too, and I should have worn one, but this is so
Go change, John. Go
Oh,
change.
All right.
Donnie, you look like the Stay
Oh,
Puft.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I look the same, just like, oh yeah, thanks, thanks.
Hey, you look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow, man.
Who?
Oh.
You
I could
do.
take my shirt off. I probably would.
You
My
look
It's
like,
so white right now. I'm almost blue.
you almost look like a human jar of mayonnaise there.
You think pink or white?
I like the white one.
Let's see the other one.
What's the name of this guy now? I gotta Google him.
His name
Bill
is
Bryan.
William. Well, you can either call him William Bryan or Bill Bryan. I don't think he cares either way. Because when you have more than one name, or one name that can be more than one name, you can call it whatever you want, pretty much.
Hey, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me asking too much today because I'm in a bad mood. So
Yeah.
I just want to watch your show.
It's the
You're
fact
in
that
a
you
bad
don't
mood.
you don't care about Ghostbusters. That's why you don't want to ask anything.
Yeah, I'm not a big movie guy.
You got now. You just do that.
Well, you
I was
Yeah.
impressed though.
That's
The one
okay.
guest we had was on the Travel Channel. My brother called and told me, and I taped that little bit. That was pretty cool. That was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that guy from the wrestling, the writer for the wrestler.
And Superman.
Yeah. Well, he's that Keith Elliott Greenberg. He's done a lot of stuff. Like I said, he's not just a wrestling guy, but that's where I know him from, just the professional wrestling world. So I was very excited to have him on. I'm going to try to do something with him too before WrestleMania.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what to expect.
Right.
I was on a Travel Channel once.
And what did you do?
No, I was in Vegas doing a gig in Vegas, and it was like a lookalike convention. But we were doing a show out in the hallway, and this married couple was there, and there's cameras following them, and it had to do with the Travel Channel. So here I went over and I did my act on them about the Sam Kinison thing, and here people told me they actually saw me on the Travel Channel doing that.
Wow.
About being
okay.
married and shit.
Oh, that's cool. Then. So you've had a little bit more exposure on television than a little bit, huh? Other than just your Fox News thing that you had or whatever. That's pretty cool. Anybody
Yeah.
else ever have exposure at all? Like I'm sure Mr. John Roberts has been exposed to the advertisements on or promotions or whatever in your radio career, I'm sure, or you've been in commercials or
Probably the biggest thing I ever did was season 1 of the Osbournes. I was, if you look at season 1, I was on there for a brief few seconds a couple of times. And that's when it just was going crazy.
was Ozzy in the area?
I
at the
kind of
time?
figured out what was going on. What's that?
Was he in the area? Ozzy in Grand Forks or Fargo at the time?
Oh yeah, yeah, he was in concert. It was his first concert back after breaking his leg from wiping out on his 4-wheeler or 3-wheeler. And he was supposedly on the wagon and he had a cast on his leg or a boot. And I knew from being in radio, I knew that they were talking about this new series called The Osbournes and what it was about. Well, we had a contest and I brought some contest winners into the green room to do an interview with Ozzy. And right when I walked in, I knew something was going on because there's never TV cameras in a full studio like that for a radio interview. I mean, I interviewed a guy from 3 doors down in a bathroom, and I started asking them about it and they played stupid. Then the next thing you know, I got a stack of papers about this thick in front of me that I got to sign. And I knew we were going to be on the show. And so we fought because we wanted to use it up here at iHeart as a marketing tool. And so we wanted to debut that episode and sell it to a bar, and I was there and all that. But yeah, it was just my little 10 seconds of fame, like twice in the first season. But that's otherwise I've been on TV a lot and shit, local TV, but I don't know.
Sure. Well, that's still
Yeah, I've been on TV. I've been on TV a lot too myself. I just shared my Fox News thing. If you all saw that, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a classic one right there. Yeah.
That's a classic. That's my favorite. I'm sorry, I bore people to death with it, but I love it.
Hey, I mean that's okay though, I mean, because you got it helped you get known for something that nobody else was doing. That's why you have to understand too, is like, that's why people like me who are interested in guys like you who do that stuff or did that stuff, why I want to talk to you in the first place, and why
Yeah, but see, I don't bring the crowd I think you wanted me to bring because I was in a different style deal than we're in now. And it's, but I do try, trust me, but
I don't know what crowd I wanted you to bring. I just wanted you to just bring yourself mostly, just to see what you're about. And then I learned about you, and it's like, this
I love
guy's
you,
pretty
Sean.
this guy's pretty fucking awesome, So
Everybody wants you for your crowd.
well, it's not about the crowd to me, like, because I've tried, look at all this. I mean, we got all these people here who you guys been with me for quite a while now. And we get random people. I mean, we never know. We kind of have an idea of who's going to watch and who's not going to watch. But I feel little by little it's starting to grow. I'm not too picky about if we had nobody watching and nobody gave a fuck, then I'd probably be like, well, should we continue? Should we not? But I think people do care. And like I was saying last week, people were talking to me, or 2 weeks ago, people were talking to me at the casino. And every week, everybody talks to me about it at the casino. Random people will come up, and it's so.
Good.
I feel like a lot of people don't watch it live either. They might not have.
Right,
Yeah.
they watch
right
after,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Like my shows, we used to have over 1,000 people watching a live show, plus how many with that. And here's the thing: a lot of people like I go by Screaming Sam, but a lot of people might come on and go, Screaming Sam ain't on the show though, because I look different than when I did back in the day. I always dressed like Sam Kinison.
But you also got.
But it actually makes me feel better looking like this than Sam Kinison.
Well, here's the thing too, that you have to understand, and we all have to understand, because back in the day when you were doing this, there's few people doing this. Now everybody's doing this. So the odds, like, oh, let's watch a podcast. Nobody's like, oh, podcast. Well, is it going to be anything different? Am I going to see something different I've never seen before? No, because the idea's already been taken. Everybody's done their own form, and whether
there's so many podcasts out right now. I understand what you're saying. It's just like, you can scroll on Facebook and there's probably 5 or 6 of them going at the same time.
Yeah.
And I listened to a little bit of each myself. I'll just butt in to see what's going on and leave.
My biggest issue though is just the fact that, people like myself and John Roberts, we had to go to school for broadcasting to learn about radio, where most
Yep.
of these people don't even need the education. They can just learn it on the internet and get some gear and set up in their house like we're doing right now, kind of. I don't even have a freaking microphone. It's only built into the camera, but you see all these people with these cool setups, almost like what John's studio looks like, but like in their house, and it's like these people all of a sudden are broadcasting.
We got to the point we don't let people take pictures in our studio anymore. There's only certain directions they can point their camera to take a picture, because we've had people come in and try to steal our ideas, and now there's other guys that are trying to get the same thing going, but it's not the same as your mom and dad's basement or whatever. But yeah, we won't even let people take pictures of our stuff anymore.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, I mean, hey, at least you get people interested enough to want to do that. You should be at least amused by that. At least like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
At least people want to see us.
Mockery is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
There you go. My picture's on the front.
there you go. Yeah, perfect. Just keep it there so that when we do this next interview, you'll just have it all ready to go. So
No, that's actually my microphone thing.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. That's why I used to interview people. We have this all the time.
Want to see
Yeah.
mine?
Oh, geez. Yeah, now speaking to it.
The bottom of a cane.
Okay, here's
I
mine.
got a DJ stuff set up here. I mean, I got all the DJ stuff but I don't have the fancy camera microphone hanging above me. And
John Roberts, that's a good microphone.
Yeah, I talk into it all the time too. It's funny.
And then you interview people.
Does it answer you back?
Yeah. Then you
Believe
interview
it or not, sometimes.
I believe it. Especially that like end of the 12 pack. I start answering.
I tell you. So anyway, so yeah, it's just it's always been one of the things that have bothered me about about today's world. It's just like the people that, because I'll go on YouTube and I'll watch just to see who's doing what, and you'll see these people just like us. Or I mean, I don't want to consider myself a no name, but there's a lot of people that are that you've never heard of that are interviewing these big top celebrities, and you're like, how the hell did they get this person? Yeah, I can't.
How did you get an Academy Award winner? Like
Yeah.
this
I
guy.
know, like what? How the hell? So don't ever think that just because Frankie gets all the celebrities, like he's so cool or whatever. There are people who are more lesser known that are getting bigger ones, just because of where they live or who they know. I think it's all about who you know. I think nowadays.
yeah, but I'm going to ask you and John something. John and Sean. Being that you went through all the schooling and stuff like that to be a DJ and all that, whatever you know what I mean, does that piss you off that now you didn't like? It's all different now, and you got these actually punks. They're doing what you said. They're just don't turn on they go on live on TikTok, live on Facebook, and they're making it big. Some of these guys, no schooling,
Well,
no education.
thing is, yeah, radio has just changed so much. Back in the day, when we were still spinning vinyl and actually splicing reel-to-reel tape and things like that, when Frankie says we went to school for it, my instructor used to tell me that you'll learn more in your first month on the job than we'll teach you here. They prepped us to get into the radio and television world. Some people went to TV, most went to radio if they stayed in it, and a few even went to the newspaper part of it. But they kind of got you. So when they say, okay, you get your first job, this is what we got to do. You know how to do it. You just got to learn how to do it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And he was right. I probably learned. I moved up real fast in the business, and you learn a lot real quick. But now everything's just computer. All you need is a computer and a decent voice and know how to read and have somewhat of a personality. There's
I can't
other
read.
skills. You don't have to bet time. There's not all these things you have to learn how to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I used to audition for movies or whatever, commercials and stuff, I'm the worst in reading, remembering. So I used to go and actually tell them, and listen, you can take your script and shove it in your ass. I'm going to ad-lib this. Guy would read it. Then I give my version. And sometimes it hits. Sometimes they say, like, forget about it. You know what I mean? But I don't like scripts. I can't do it. I just don't like, I like ad-libbing the best.
That's probably why you were never an actor.
Oh, jeez.
What I wrote.
Eric,
Hi, how's
What's
everybody?
happening, Antique Man?
Hey, hey, good evening, everybody.
Hello,
I was-
Ashtably late as usual.
he just took a shower. His hair's wet.
Yeah, his hair is wet.
Yeah,
Like
I had to take a shower so I smell good for you.
you. Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm one of the greatest. I'm one of the greatest actors on this screen. I was married for 41 fucking years and hated every day of it.
And now you're dating a woman, another
A
woman.
lovely lady. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But it's different
I've
because
been together 30-some years.
well,
Anyway,
so
good evening.
my
I'm not
thing is,
saying anything.
I guess my whole grief is that you guys probably are, you guys.
And
already
she's
know,
the
but
luckiest girl I know.
my grief when it comes to the whole broadcast thing, to answer your question there, John, or Screamer Sam,
What's that?
is basically just, yeah, I feel like I'm good enough to be like to work in a station or to do some type of work that's similar to this. I don't care if it's radio or even on TV, but it's like I live in an area where everybody's so fickle, and I kind of, in the beginning when we were first doing this, just the two of us, I didn't know what direction we were going to go. I didn't, know how this is going to work. But as we started to do week by week, and now where we are now, we haven't been around that long. I feel like I can personally say, and it's just not anything to take personal, but if you're with me, that's fine. If you don't understand it, it's okay too. But it's
Right.
this is now not just the show that we do, but it's my own personal middle finger to the people who always told me no, to the ones that told me that I could never amount to anything in this type of field, or that
Right.
said I could never get a job in this type of field. Look at what we're doing.
Yep.
So my personal middle finger to those,
Thing is though,
but
is
not a middle
radio
finger
has
to everybody else.
changed. Radio's
lot of
changed so much. They're talking about not putting AM radios in cars anymore. Some of the
Yeah.
funnest times I had in radio were way back in the AM radio days. I absolutely loved it. But it's just at iHeart here, for example, in Grand Forks, we had 5 radio stations in that building. At one time, I think we had 17 on-air personalities, and right now, I think they've got maybe 4 or 5, and only 2 of them are full-time. I've
No
been
way.
gone from there for 5 years. And on the morning show I used to do with the guy who's still there, he's one of the 2 left. When he goes on vacation, iHeart, the huge radio giant, is so cheap they didn't even hire any part-timers. So he has to replay old shows from him and I from 5 years ago, 6 years
Oh,
ago.
wow.
I get calls all the time saying, man, I'm so glad you're back on the Fox again, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I'm not. And they replay my stuff all the time, and I'd get this much for it. Anytime I put my voice on a mic through a microphone for iHeart, they own it all.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's
what
something.
I'm
I
saying,
mean,
a lot of you-
Sirius Radio, that's another thing. Even if you got a gig on Sirius Radio, it's got to be a popular station for you to even get good clientele listening on that, because there's so many stations on Sirius Radio. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Right.
yep.
I don't know how they do it. I swear to God. I mean, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, we had what's it called on early times, and he kind of explained a little bit about how it works, but it's like, he still has to answer to a boss. Everybody thinks that he's the boss, and it's like,
Right.
but he's not. He's just the
No.
host. He's not the station manager or anything. That's why when Bob was asking about why is his stuff not playing, that's not up to early times. That's up to the corporate world. That's why, believe it or not, when I've interviewed him before, he didn't want me to really, like, in the promotional part of it, he didn't want me to mention anything or tag Sirius Radio into the promotional part of it. He don't care if we talked about it when we did the interview live or whatever, but like promotion wise, I don't think he wants them to know that he does this on the side, even though he does, for certain people. So I don't know. Bill's on his way. He's just getting ready here. I sent him the link here, so should be
Okay, great.
But yeah, we're excited though. I mean, I'm excited, and I'm excited for you guys too because this will be. I don't know if you ever interviewed anybody from the Ghostbusters series at all, but or any. Well, I mean, other than what we've done here, but so this will be very iconic. So get ready. And Antique Man, I tell you, you were playing doing a piano song earlier on. That was pretty good. You really jammed out. I like
Well, thanks for listening.
musically
It,
a good musical act.
I wish I could play the piano.
I wish I could play the piano.
I could play guitar.
I
That's
played a
good.
I can't play
I have a
this, but I
bass that's
tried,
been sitting in a stand for about 8 years. I haven't picked it up, but it still looks good.
Maybe we should just make a band of ourselves, just to get together and see how it goes. Record some demos or whatever.
No one got what I played. Everybody just no one listens to me. I'm always out there in left field.
What are you playing? This good.
I jammed with Bobby a couple of times. I picked up the bass when he was out here, but yeah,
I said
that was a long time ago.
He plays with a skin flute.
I play the organ.
Yeah.
Neither one of them need to do that.
I tell you, we got so many bad images in our heads. I actually had it before our guest comes on. I have a new joke for you guys too. This is probably, hopefully you haven't heard this one, but let me find it real quick here. Since I don't remember my memory, but
It'll be hard, Sean. I know them all.
I don't know. This one got me cracked up anyway, but I don't know what you all know. So let me find it here real quick here.
Oh, we don't know what you all know.
That's right.
Y'all.
You never heard
Yeah.
that one before?
You mean you don't know what Yuns know? Yuns
Yuns.
don't know what we know.
Okay. Here.
You
Okay.
Utes don't know either.
Here's a joke here. What do you call a fat woman with a yeast infection?
A wife.
Ah.
I heard this, but I can't remember. Good.
It's a Whopper with cheese.
What?
A
A Whopper with cheese?
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh? Is that better? Is that more funny than last time?
Wow.
hey, no fat jokes tonight. That offends me.
Oh, do you have your own cheese or what? I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, for Monday.
Monday.
Been hanging around some young people and he's getting triggered.
I
Johnny-
identify myself tonight as a fat woman, so don't tell no fat jokes.
Honey got
Especially
that for Monday. That cheese from Monday's legs.
Hey, I got pants off today, so
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah.
Great.
Remember last
Oh,
week, everybody was
No, I
laughing about
joined
that.
I didn't even
I-
go back
I
and
joined a
watch
nudist
that. I watched
colony.
it and I was like, I'm waiting for something. What was I waiting for again? And I kept getting interrupted, so I didn't get a chance to see it.
I told a couple of friends
Or
and they
maybe
were
I just,
laughing.
maybe it was
That's
just
funny
so
as
small,
hell.
I missed it.
I wanted to freeze it and use it as my background today.
Oh, don't do that. That was embarrassed.
All right, guys. Our
Hey,
guest is here.
I joined a nudist colony a couple weeks ago. First couple days were the hardest.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. Hey, what's up there, William or Bill? How you doing?
All right, there we go.
Hi,
Yeah,
Bill.
sorry if the Zoom thing confused you or whatever. They have two different options of how I can send an invite. Either the one that I just sent to you beforehand, or the one I sent you the first one, which is longer. So
Yeah, a lot longer and full of useless numbers.
that's right. Well, we're happy to have you on the show. Welcome to Renegade Radio.
Thank
Welcome.
you. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Is that
You and I have actually had a chance to talk. We've chatted before because we've been friends on Facebook for quite a long time, probably over 10 years or so at least. Probably
Yeah.
2012, 2013. It was about 2014 when I interviewed you, and it was a radio interview, but I was living in South Dakota at the time. But I
I
thought
see.
with the new movie coming out and maybe get your thoughts on everything, we could have you on the show. We were supposed to have Robin as well, but she's booked somewhere else. She's busy tonight, so she won't be able to be
Oh, I didn't know.
yeah. Well, she told me on Friday, and I'm just like, oh, because it's like, boy, getting Stay Puft and Slimer together on one show would have been pretty awesome. But I'm glad I still got a hold of you anyway, and I'm glad you said yes. So I
Pleasure.
definitely appreciate you. I want to introduce my crew to you first, so you have an idea of who you all are, and then we'll go into the interview. We'll start.
All right.
We'll start
So
with.
let's see, is that, oh, I can see all there. There we
Okay.
go.
We'll start with Mama T here, Tanya.
Hi,
Yes,
Bill.
Hey,
Um,
Tanya.
My boyfriend is a blues musician, been on the charts for the last 66 weeks. We run a bar here in McIntosh, Minnesota, off one of the major highways. I do a newsletter, and he's been friends with Sean forever and said, hey, you should have Tanya on your show. She knows a lot about pop culture. And so now I'm advertising it in my newsletter as well. So that's fun.
Oh, excellent. All right.
All right. The guy whose
Glad
name
you're here.
is not the guy whose name is not Laura, but it's John Roberts. Go ahead.
John,
Hey, how you doing,
Yeah.
Bill? Yes, that's my wife's computer.
I see.
Hi, Bill. I'm just a radio guy, 4 decades now. I do some sports play-by-play on the radio still, but now I have a video podcast company called GFBS. Stands for Grand Forks Best Source. I'm a racetrack
Oh, okay.
announcer. I'm an outdoorsman. I'm a fisherman and a hunter, and I'm married, and I'm hanging out with these guys. I know Mama T. I've known Sean for a while now. The rest of these guys are just a blast to spend every Monday with. We get to meet people like you, and I can't wait to roll into this interview.
Oh, me
All
either.
right then.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I should have just just to show how legit we are about all this, or at least I am anyway.
Oh boy.
My own little safe in honor of you.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Well, if we're showing off toys.
Mine's bigger than yours.
Oh boy.
Awesome.
That's cool. I want
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, friend of mine.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome.
You
Oh,
must
thank you
have
for
so
pulling
much
that
fun
out.
at Halloween.
I didn't think I'd ever say that on this show.
Yeah.
I never
To
thought
say
of
what?
so good.
Thanks for pulling that out.
Oh, I see.
Well, up next we have Eric's iPhone, but is we call him Antique Man.
Hey, William, thanks for being on the show.
Okay.
Looking forward to the story. I'm just an old rock and roll singer and songwriter from the Dakotas. We made the South Dakota Rock Hall of Fame about 4 years back, and I ran a business for 40 years, and here I am with these people.
Well, I'm going to be in Sioux Falls in September
Oh, great.
at an event.
Okay.
I'll be in Sioux
like a
Falls
Comic-Con or
in
whatnot?
May.
All right.
Yeah, I
Well,
live in Texas now, but
I see.
And next we have we call him Ansley, but his name, or we call him Mad Dog. That's what we call him.
Hey, Bill,
you-
Joe, Mad Dog, I was a professional wrestler here in Pittsburgh, PA for about 30 years. That's my brother, Screaming Sammy, was my manager. I just recently made the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame around here with Bruno Sammartino and the likes of a couple of crazy guys like George the Animal Steel and all the old WWF stars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh just gave me the key to the city on November 4th. It's Mad Dog Day here. And
That's great.
yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, Screaming Sam.
How you doing, William? Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I used to be an entrepreneur a while ago, like a bunch of businesses. Then I found out I look like Sam Kinison. I used to look like Sam Kinison.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's actually me on the microphone. This is my picture right here. That's me.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I don't look like him now because I retired. But anyway, I was had my own internet TV show, radio shows. I was entertainer for years and years and years. And Sean asked me to join the team, and I was one of the first ones, and I accepted it because this is what I love to do. I mean, I don't talk much on this show, not as much as I did on my shows, but I enjoy all the guests he gets, and I listen and learn. So
Is your name
welcome to the
really?
show.
Is your name really Sam?
No, it's John.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, Screaming Sam. I picked the name Scream. My brother actually picked the name for me.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
He first said Screaming Demon Sam, and I go, no demon stuff in my name. So then we changed it to Screaming Sam.
You'll hear the
never-
demon come out later, you know, when he screams at you.
Yeah.
Well,
Like he said, I did wrestling with him, which I loved. I loved that part of my life too.
Yeah.
So-
well, and I'm the kind of the host or the guy behind everything. I'm the one that got a hold of you, and like I said, we've been friends for you and I have been friends for at least well over 10 years, and I've always liked pop culture. You know, I grew up, you know, liking Ghostbusters and I, you know, Back to the Future, Goonies, all types of stuff, and you know, just always liked that type of thing. I went to school for broadcasting and never could really get a real professional radio job. Always volunteered, like I'm doing right
Yeah.
now, volunteering. It's just fun volunteering.
I see.
But it's a love of work. But nowadays I'm calling the show more like a middle finger to those people that never gave me a chance. You know, so
There you go.
I've never
That's
amounted to
nice.
anything. So I got my crew with me. They all have something to do with entertainment. That's why I had them introduce themselves to you, just to get so you have an idea. We do this with
It's
every
good to
guest.
know.
Yeah,
Good
we
to
do
know
this
who I'm talking to.
yeah, we do this with every guest that we have because I want everybody to know who they're talking to. Some people don't do that. You know, some people just go, they introduce a couple people and then they forget about everybody else. I'm just like, no, you got to introduce the crew, you know? So
That makes a lot of sense.
we are
I mean,
honored
when
to have you.
so
and,
Eric, when you were singing, did you introduce the band?
Always.
All right then. See,
Yeah. It's just a proper way to do it. You should always introduce everybody to your team. So that's what we do, and we've been on doing the show since the end of August of last year, and it's just something that I wanted to do because you know I love interviewing, and I love doing like phone interviews back in the day, but now that we have a Zoom and stuff, it's kind of cool to be able to do video interviews with people who are very iconic in the world like yourself. So
oh, shucks.
appreciate you. So welcome to Renegade Radio, and I'll start off, you know, with a question. With everything going on in the Ghostbuster world, how often, I suppose, you know, you got a lot of things on your plate, you know, when it comes to other films and stuff too that you've been a part of, but I suppose Ghostbusters is the real the real popular one in your life, I suppose, huh?
Well, it's certainly one of them. There have been times when I've been surprised by the popularity of other things. There was one time back in, I think it was '97. I went to Syracuse University, and back in the '70s, and so I think it was '97. Took the family to see the old house where you know, actually where I met my now ex-wife and still the mother of my children and grandmother of my grandchildren. And when we got to the door of the frat house, I told them, "Hey, I used to live here, and I was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man." And oh, that's interesting. So we went inside. I was surprised that you know it wasn't a little bit more, but go inside, and we're taking a tour, and we get inside one of the rooms, and they shut the door, and on the back of the door was a poster for Army of Darkness. And I said, "Oh yeah, I was in that too." And they got down on their hands and knees, said, "We are not worthy." And so you just never know what's going to catch somebody's attention.
That's right.
I guess so. Well, I never figured that would be the one that people would care about a lot. But hey, you know, a lot of people like, you know, your body of work, you've done so many different, you know, iconic roles and stuff. So it's like, you know, I'm not surprised, you know. But I
Did
would
you
figure
ever?
I don't
Did you ever see my resume rap? It's on it's on YouTube. You can go to Bill Bryan's resume rap. You don't have to say video, but that's the whole title of it.
Okay.
And I was in Japan in 2016 when the Answer the Call came out, and somebody had invited me to Japan to do some signings, and they were doing a screening of the Girl movie, and so I'm standing in front for the Q&A before the screening, and somebody said, "So, well, we know that you were the Marshmallow Man. What else have you done in your career?" And I I had a log jam. It was like I kind of hesitated too long, and the moment passed, and I thought that will never happen again. So I went home. When I got home, I started writing it all down, and I discovered that I could put it in rhyme and recite it. And so
That's wild.
you know, and it was about maybe, I don't know, another couple of months later that I was at an event in, I think, North Carolina. Oh, it was supposed to be North Carolina, but it was really just over the border in South Carolina. And this radio guy came up to me. He said, "You mind if we do a radio interview with you?" And I said, "I wouldn't mind at all." He said, "All right, I'll be right back with my equipment and my sound man." And so they came over and set up the boom mic over my head. And the fella, and the first question he asked, "Well, we know that you were the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but what else have you done for your career?" And I looked up at the gods. I said, "Now," and they looked down and said, "Seems about right." So I said, "I've been a schmello, been a schweezel, been a bitch in a pit. Chucky wasn't done until I'd done my bit. Zebra and lion would never have met. Alien cocoon, that giant marionette. The fairy tale hen with her golden eggs. Anaconda, Quesadrix, what you think of them? Green blobs, eaglets, young pteranodons, a talking oak tree, and a heart for King Kong. He's the man, he's the man, he's the Marshmallow Man. If any man can do it, that's the man who can. Every day I hear it, anywhere I am, give it to the Marshmallow Man." And that's the first verse. It goes on for two more verses.
Wow.
And actually, that was 8 years ago. So there's room for some additional work to be done on that. But I
That's
haven't
awesome.
And
gone
that was just a freestyle, huh? Just kind of just whatever you came up with.
in.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to have to figure out what to rhyme with Heidi Klum's worm. You know, you saw that one, right? Her Halloween costume.
Oh, okay. I was like,
You
wait,
don't
what?
even need to. I'm happy with just calling it Heidi Klum's worm.
Right? I mean, they're all sort of clues to the project. I mean, a schmello is obviously Marshmallow Man. The schweezel was the shit weasel in Dreamcatcher. Things like that. But now to go with the the schweezel, there's the Pontiasaurus, or Cockzilla, as I've heard it called, from Jackass Forever. I don't know if you saw that one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was
I
the
helped
opener.
puppeteer that one. My son and I did that. Oh, also the belly of the Sarlacc for the book of Boba Fett. When it explains. I mean, when he fell into the Sarlacc pit in Empire, right? And then, I think it was not Jedi, right? Anyway, he falls into there, and then later he shows up again, and so it's like, what the hell? How did he get out? And so we answered that question.
Okay.
Anyway, stuff like that.
Hey, Bill, do you have a favorite that you like watching now on a movie? What's your all-time favorite? Do you have one?
Well, the piece that I'm the most proud of, actually, in Men in Black, the Grouchy, it's don't get too close to him. He's crouched. It's really funny the way the head keeps appearing and disappearing on that toy you're holding there.
Yeah,
Sean.
It's just a background image there. So
It's really funny how the body stays in your hand, but the head disappears and reappears. It's really strange.
It's like Mick Smiley said, it's magic, I tell you.
Exactly. Anyway, what was I saying? I forget. I got distracted by your toy.
The guy from Men in Black was your favorite to watch.
Oh, right. Well, actually,
it's so many good ones.
Well, it's because everything on that one, I invented how to work with plastic bags to build it, and then I made the whole thing out of sheet plastic, inflated it. I asked Carlo Rambaldi what was his, what piece he was most proud of, and he said White Buffalo because it really worked, and and it looked like it was really alive. Well, this one, it might or might not look like it's really alive, but it's got so many things going on it, and you could keep looking at it for a long time and not know all the stuff that's going on there. Unfortunately, yeah, it's probably about a 4-second shot, like all of them.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you know,
I got a
excuse me.
question for you.
Yes.
So all these things you've done, I mean, you named quite a few of them already. Sponge Out of Water, Curse of Chucky, Village, Cat in the Hat. You did a Miller Lite ad, Creature, Daphne's Fat Suit from Frasier. You did a children's book. It's the Statue of Yogurt and Spaceballs, the still suits from
Yes.
like, okay, yeah, I call it doing my homework. I like
Yeah, there you go.
They call it creeping. But I want to know.
Stalking is the word.
Yeah, that.
proud.
I only did it for one day though.
Oh,
I'll continue if you want. But no, the question I have is, you won an Academy Award in '89. Can you
I've
tell
heard
us
that.
about that?
I can't actually, because I think I've seen it it's on my IMDb, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
for scientific engineering.
If I got
I
one,
saw that too.
I'm not sure what it's for. It might have been, you know what? Sometimes things show up and I don't really know. I would love to
Did
be
that?
proud of it.
I don't remember doing that. When did I do that?
Like that. And so,
Bill, I call that the 80s, man.
usually, oh, right, exactly. But then the 60s and the 70s, those were all ours too. So they tell us.
Started in the 70s for me.
Yeah. Actually, I've been sort of pushing to get a little Scientific Achievement Academy Award for the plastic bag stuff. I think it was that actually occurred in I think it was '94. Remember Earth 2? It was right around then. Also, there was some Putterman, the Duracell commercials. Whatever the year was, it was a combination of those two items that led to call it discovery, or the realization that you could do stuff out of sheet plastic that a lot of people don't know. They call it plastic because you can manipulate it with your fingers. I mean, you ever take a piece of plastic bag? Not all plastic bags will work this way, but the good juicy polyethylene, you pull on it, you can yank a pretty good size, a good long extension, and you can do all kinds of things once you start there. I mean, it's like when I started, before my career, I saw a show by Jim Henson about Muppets on Puppets, and it showed how to make a Muppet. And it was from that very simple lesson that most of my career has been derived. Just taking that simple idea and moving beyond. What?
Was your first paid gig or whatever you want to call it, doing this work, was that the whole Elton John banana thing? And if that was, how much has the industry changed? How much has it changed from that day? Because my gosh, the technology now and the things you've learned, it's got to be incredibly different. Just like when we were talking about radio from 40 years ago compared to now, how things have changed.
Yes, actually, in some ways, I've sort of held firm on sticking with practical mostly, rather than delving in digital. I mean, yes, digital's here to stay, as will AI be, of course, but at least until they take over, and then we'll be gone.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, this Stay Puft, man, I built this over during November, December, I built a suit. A friend had asked me if I had one, and because he was doing a Christmas show, and he was wondering if maybe the Marshmallow Man could walk through. I said, well, I don't have one, but I could by Christmas. And so it was the impetus.
I know a guy.
It was a reason to build it. I hadn't, I'd always been thinking, hey, there needs to be one. And it was a good excuse. Not that I got paid for it per se, but I got to wear it and sing a song. And it was a Marshmallow Man song, which was fun. Anyway.
It kind of sounds like you kind of have a career kind of like you kind of remind me of Adam Savage a little bit from Mythbusters, because I've been seeing some videos that he's done of like going to like movie studios and whatnot, and seeing the work that they do on certain projects or whatever. Because I guess he used to do that too, or he still does that from time to time. Is that kind of similar to what you're kind of about, kind of like when it comes to creating these characters, you work in big studios and you work coming together with an idea and then see if it works or not?
Certainly some of that, or some little studios, or sometimes I get the call to build something at home. It depends on the moment and the gig. I met Robert Kurtzman of K&B Effects years ago, and actually it was a Halloween party in I think it was '84 or '85, and I had built an elaborate Halloween costume and hung out till real late. And as I was leaving, I realized that Robert was sitting on the front steps and didn't want to drive home. And so I gave him a ride home. And from that, I got called by K&B to do several pieces along the way. And we got to be good pals. And then he left them, and fairly recently, what was a couple of years ago, I guess, for a movie called Black Friday. He asked for a plastic bag piece, some alien pods growing and moving and undulating, and so I did that for them. So that I did at home, well, in my studio, and Heidi Klum's worm costume. It was a similar thing. Actually, today I just got word that maybe there's Heidi might want something else. So it should be. Well, we'll see what it is and find out.
Oh,
What
Do you get to
another of
fit
my
her then?
what?
Do you get to fit her? Like take your measurements and MC and all
Well,
that stuff?
Well, they scanned her and printed
Oh, sure.
a full size Heidi, and I built it on that. But then we eventually put her into it, and she's a sweetheart. She's really a really
I
nice
heard she
lady.
was a
And
sweetheart.
You could have used
Yeah.
me for the Puft Marshmallow guy.
there you go. See.
well, what I want to know, and maybe you can educate my crew a little bit about the whole story behind the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, because I'm sure you've told it thousands of times, but I mean, it's an interesting story, I think,
Excuse me.
because it's like, were you just right guy, right moment, or how did you get picked to do that?
It was all of that. We had, let's see, how far back should I go? One of the first jobs I got in LA was at NBC. They needed somebody to build silly foam things for a bunch of actually any show with and in the middle. There was Captain Ann Tennille, there was Sonny and Cher, there was Donnie and Marie, there was Shields and Yarnell, maybe one more. Anyway, and they had variety shows, and there was always maybe an elf hat or pointed shoes or a turkey costume, or there was Donnie and Marie had a salute to soup. Okay, yeah, whatever. So made some pieces, bit oversized vegetables or chicken or something. Anyway, so after I was done at NBC, I was there for about 5 years and making when I didn't have a specific job to work on, they said just make something, and so I built animal costumes for instance. There was an elephant that I built that I just built for rental, and it ended up in The Incredible Shrinking Woman with Lily Tomlin. It was it played as a maraca wielding little toy in a closet. You know, she rides in on a skateboard and it's in there. But eventually they ran out of things for me to do. Oh yeah, Inner Space. There's an alligator, or yeah, I guess it's alligator, crocodile, and one or the other. When Martin Short gets injected into Dennis Quaid in Inner Space, it's in a mall and people are dancing around, and a couple of costume characters are there. There's a chipmunk and the alligator. Anyway, so got finished there at NBC, and I went out trying to find work, and one of the jobs, actually one of the first jobs, my former boss at NBC, Kelly Kimball, asked me to come over to Disney and build a suit of. It was a costume of a pin the tail on the donkey.
Oh, yeah.
It was the donkey getting the tails pinned on it and wincing in agony. It was for this young up and coming director kid named Tim Burton. And
Oh boy.
yeah, I don't know. You might have heard of him. Anyway, he didn't end up doing that movie. Wait, hang on. But he ended up reconfiguring the idea in his head, and I think it sort of ended up as Nightmare Before Christmas, I think. But then, so how did we get that? Thank you. Having the No Ghost logo behind you momentarily reminded me of where I was heading with the story.
You're welcome. That was by accident, by the way.
That's all right. It worked. So I let's see. I worked at Sid and Marty Crofts, and while there, I was building. Well, Croft they'd done puppets for Barbara Mandrell's show, and then I think Marty had told Barbara's little sister Earlene that he could make her a star, and so we rebuilt those Texas Critters puppets for her to go on the road with. And while there, I met a guy, Mark Siegel, who was a clay sculptor. They brought him in to sculpt another project that they were working on. And we got to be pretty good friends. And and so when he was next hired at Don Post Studios to sculpt the still shoots for Dune, he said, I don't think that's the right way. I think they should be fabricated. And so they invited me over, and we ended up fabricating those 300 still shoots. And it was after we were done with that. One of the folks that we hired to help build those suits was a lovely lady named Linda Frobos, who ended up sculpting Stay Puft's head. So she one of her next jobs, she went over to Boss Films, and she was, I think, working on the Terror Dogs maybe, or something like that at the time. And I got a call from her asking, how would I fabricate a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, a giant marshmallow suit? So I started telling her, and she said, no, wait a minute. Why don't you come on in and interview? And I got the job, both to fabricate it as well as wear it. She knew that I had done some acting. She'd seen a picture of me as Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream at Will Geer's Theatricum Botanicum in Topanga. And so she knew I could do Shakespeare. So, it's a step up, but I guess she figured I could probably handle a giant marshmallow man as well. So
And you
did
did.
that. Well, thank you very much. let's see, what else is there to the story? I don't know.
Well, you said, Bill, that they asked you how you would do this.
Yeah.
How much freedom do you have making these? Do they just give you an idea and say, let's just, you come up with something, you do the drawings and they go from
Well,
there? Or
no,
how much freedom do you
no,
have when they show you their vision, you know?
no. Okay. Now, Dan had written the Marshmallow Man into the original script. And then when Harold rewrote the script, the Marshmallow Man was one of the few things that remained as it was in the story. Then they went to graphic artists to draw things. I do know, I've seen pictures that Bernie Wrightson drew of the Terror Dogs, different ideas, different versions of them. And I'm not sure which artist it was that did several versions of the Marshmallow Man, which was based on the Angelus Marshmallow Man that Dan Aykroyd had grown up with, which was a cop, actually. So he said. But the idea of it being a sailor was in one of those drawings, and between two or three of them, we came up with how the thing probably ought to look. And then I started coming up with how it ought to be built. And I tried carving the foam to make solid pieces because we hoped to have it without any seams visible. And so it was hard to get a smooth enough surface on the foam. It would have taken too long to sand it all down. And so instead, I shifted the idea over to doing it out of sheet foam and bringing it around and having the seams away from the audience. And we ended up making a lot of suits. We made one for me to wear and at least 7 more for the stunt. There were a couple of stunt guys that wore it. One was Brad Couch. He was the son of the stunt coordinator, and he, I don't know, one reason or another, it didn't work out, and so they brought in Tony Césaire, who has made a living burning up in The Thing and Child's Play, I think, or maybe. Let's see, what else? So many great burns were done by Tony. And so he did 2 or 3 quick burns on Stay Puft. And, you know, he had his own Nomex suit that he put on. And first he'd dip it in his special gel, which I guess it burns off, but it cools the wearer. He made sure that he had supplied air inside, which was a good idea because he did see flames between him and the suit.
Oh boy!
So it's a good thing he had his own air. Anyway, what was the question?
Very much about the history of how this whole thing happened to you.
There, okay. So that's some of it.
I want to know how much freedom you have in making these and how much you work on them. You know, you did the little reference, and I'm wondering, do you think of things in your sleep? But almost like writing a song. I mean, how do you come up with some of these, and how many ideas do they throw off you that you have? Are you allowed to bounce your ideas back at them, and then you guys come up with what we want this thing to look like?
It depends on the show. Sometimes some people are very locked into what they want, and some people have no real idea, and they really want your input. So it helps if you figure out who they are and what's going on in their head. So, oh yes, I remember now what I was saying about the suits. We made side view suits and front view suits and back view suits. The seams were always away from camera, and that way, you know. Oh, and also because the hat was it was cast, they had done a plaster. I'm not sure if you know about plaster, how you can by
Oh, yeah.
spinning a form around a piece of plaster. I mean, as you pack the plaster in and you spin the form, the cross section, it'll create the shape that you're looking for. But when you mold it, you're going to end up with a seam. And so, depending on which view suit it's going to be, I had to cut the crown of the hat off of the band and rotate it 90 degrees so that the seam would be parallel to the frame, so that you'd never see that seam.
You always want the zipper in the back.
Yeah.
That kind.
Even some Velcro covering it up, just in case.
Well, we used the zipper. It was pretty obvious, but but you know, there was a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in front of it, so you never saw it.
Was it
That's
difficult to move around when you were in the suit at all?
No,
or-
actually, I made it to be comfortable, and it's hollow, and it's okay. Granted, it's hot. You know, there's no getting away from that. But it was lightweight, and it fit me well, and you know, it wasn't a difficult thing to wear. And actually, the hardest part was standing around waiting for the lighting to get finished. But it was big enough that I could keep books inside, and I could stand there and read while I'm waiting for it to get lit.
Hey, Bill,
You know,
If I had
Yeah.
that suit on, I would intentionally fall just to see if it didn't hurt.
I actually did that the first day.
Uh-huh.
I purposely
Throw myself down a
planted.
stairwell.
It was I didn't do it down a stairwell. It was just up on the platform. But I did a face plant just to demonstrate that it was okay and it wasn't going to be a problem. And of course, they panicked when I did it because I didn't warn them. But
hey, Bill, what was it like working with
Everything
Jack
came
Black
out
on?
okay though.
I'm sorry, there were two questions.
I'm sorry. Yeah, John.
Choose one.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Sam. I'm done.
What was it like working with Jack Black on Tenacious D, the Pickup
Oh,
Destiny?
Funny, I didn't
He
meet
has to be a
Jack.
trip.
I didn't meet Jack, but I did meet Dave Grohl. You know, I think it was Taylor Hawkins, I think, was supposed to wear. Well, first they wanted Dave, but Dave was unavailable. And so they said, well, how about, I think it was Taylor. And so Barney Berman's company was doing the suit. I think it was Barney's. Yeah, or Barney or Rob. I think it was Barney. And so they, the feet, there were different shapes. And so when Dave said, oh, I can do it, then I went in and rebuilt the legs and feet for him. And then, but that was fun because we went to see a special screening at the Chinese Theater in LA, in Hollywood. And after the screening was over, we walked out to the lobby. I walked right behind Ronnie James Dio, and we got into the lobby, and Dave Grohl standing just inside the door to the lobby. Girlfriend went to the bathroom, and so I'm standing there talking to Dave for a little bit. So it worked all right. She said, "Oh yeah, it was very good. You know, I'm really happy with it." And she came out of the bathroom, and Dave, Carla, Dave, and not recognizing him, she said, "So did you work together on the project?" And Dave said, "Yes, him make very good double leg for me."
That's funny.
So that was Dave. That was my experience with Dave Grohl. but no, I didn't get to work to deal directly with Jack. There's a lot of that. I didn't meet Bill Murray until we did costume for Kimmel in 2016.
Oh,
wow.
Because they had the girls and the boys on.
yeah. I remember.
And so they decided they wanted a suit for Guillermo. I don't know if you know Kimmel's show.
Oh yeah.
You know, his assistant or his buddy,
Guillermo. Oh, yeah.
his
Yeah.
what is it? Buddy James Melman. That was Dave. Anyway,
Yeah, we're familiar with Jimmy Kimmel. He's
yeah. Anyway,
he's
so
good talk show.
so we made him a suit with the face out so that and we whited up his face. But I made sure before going in to dress him that the costume guy knew that I hadn't met Bill. I should have mentioned that I hadn't met Dan either, because he walked by me and nothing. In fact, I even wrote a song. Actually, I just rewrote a song. You know the Hoyt Axton Three Dog Night song, I've Never Been to Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Familiar with it?
Yeah.
I was in a bar. Somebody
Hoyt
said,
wrote them all for him.
what?
Well, Hoyt
What'd you
wrote
say?
most of their hits. Yeah.
So I'm in a bar. Somebody asked me, did you ever meet Sigourney? And I said, well, I never met Sigourney, but I did meet Ernie Hudson. And I thought, wow, that's got the same rhythm. So by the time I got home, well, I never met Sigourney, but I did meet Ernie Hudson. I told Ivan I was Stay Puft. In effect, he said, so what, son? Between so what, son, and Ernie Hudson, I'll take Hudson. I met Murray doing Kimmel. Didn't turn out like I hoped for. We were supposed to be best friends now, but he never got the memo. Doing Kimmel, got no memo. Not best friends. Aykroyd, don't know me from Adam, but I got to play his icon. Let's see, maybe someday selling vodka, I will get to tell him thank you. Played his icon, selling vodka, I'll say thank you. Wish I had met Harold Ramis because he kept it all together. Though the others were more famous, his reality was better. Harold Ramis, now he's famous, he was better. And we were in, let's see. We were in a film together, but in different locations. Never got to bond as castmates, but we shared in its creation. If they have a big reunion, I hope I get an invitation. Anyway.
That's awesome.
Oh, that is awesome. Yes, that is awesome. Now with the
Hey, I got-
oh, go ahead, John.
Just one more question. Before, I think the Elton John, the banana thing was kind
Right.
of got you rolling, but you used to ride the rails, I believe, from what I read.
Well, it was how I got.
So the reason I asked is, we come from a railroad family. My wife's dad was railroad. My grandfather was railroad. And I
Okay.
grew up, I had a friend that lived next to the rail yard in our hometown, and we would run into, we called them bums back in the day. They'd have their little camp set up. There'd be 2-3 dudes, and they were just riding the rails, but they were the nicest guys you ever met. We were just kids, 12, 13 years old. And I'm just wondering, your time doing that, to me back then, that would have been pretty cool.
Well, it was 1976. I was finishing up at Syracuse University, and a friend at Syracuse, he was in the Newhouse School of Communication, which is a big part of Syracuse. I was in the art department, but I'd been making Halloween costumes to take to bars to win the prize and earn weed money, like you do. So one of the guys that I knew was they were making a plant food commercial for a class, and they had to shoot a real commercial. So they asked me if I could make them a plant costume. So I did. And then the guy that asked me to do it, he's the son of Dick Tufeld, who did the voice of the Lost in Space robot. What did he say?
Oh,
What did he say? You all know.
Will
Danger,
Robinson.
Danger,
Danger, Will
Danger,
Robinson.
Anyway, so
Will
Dick,
Warning.
Warning.
there you go. And we all do Dick's voice, right? Well, so Dick had come to visit Bruce, and so he was in the control booth when they shot that commercial, and the director of the commercial went in and said, so what do you think, Mr. Tufeld? Is there a place for me in Hollywood? He said, no, but there's a place for the guy that made that costume. I was actually studying metalsmithing at the time, and
Yeah.
I figured I was going to be a impoverished silversmith on Cape Cod. But when I heard that, I sent him a letter because it was a couple or 3 days later that I heard about it at a party. He said, "You know what Dick said?" He said, "No, but there's a place for the guy that made the costume." I said, "Okay." So I drew on a big piece of paper. I drew the costume, and then I folded it in a giant triangle and put his address on it and sent it to him. And kind of forgot about it. And about a month later, I got a phone call, a cross-country phone call, the first I'd ever gotten. And it was Dick, and he just wanted to say that, "Oh yeah, I just found this on my desk again, and I left it, forgot, but yeah, I just wanted you to know, yes, I think you could get yourself a pretty good career going if you can do the sort of thing you did for them." And so it was actually Dick. I mean, when I hopped on my bicentennial rocket thumb to cross the country, and hitchhiked, stopped at various places along the way, but finally coming out of the Rockies after a night playing, sitting around a campfire and soaking in a natural hot spring. But I got down. Grand Junction is where the mountains meet the desert, and a hippie on the road can't get a ride across the desert. It had gotten a little too scary at that point already. Now you can't get any. But so I decided, oh well, I'm going to have to go into Grand Junction. I'm going to have to buy a ticket, a bus ticket, and go the rest of the way. But as I'm crossing the Cloverleaf to head on into town, and there's a little orange, it only looked that big, a little orange Toyota pickup, and a couple of guys are climbing into the back of it. So I'm running across and shouting, and they bang on the top of the car, and so they told them to wait. So I climb in with them. They say, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go buy a ticket." And they said, "Nah, come with us to the freight yards. We'll show you how." And so that's what we did. We went and hung out at the freight yards for a little while. And then just about the time night was falling, one of the trains was getting ready to go, and they knew where and whom. But they had talked to the brakemen. They didn't care if there were people in them. And so we climbed in and started I only rode the rails for maybe 24 hours, maybe a little longer. I took that one train, took us to Salt Lake City. And when we got there, the other guys were heading somewhere else. And so, paths diverged. So I didn't know what to do. And I'm sitting there waiting, actually on a the flat car with the 18 wheelers on the back, when they send more than one. And one of the guys had gotten off back in Grand Junction to get some Cokes. And by the time he got back, the train was gone. But he and Roger and Willie they're looking out the big door, and they see me and say, "What the hell are you doing there? Get off there and come with us." And so we went down Hobo Jungle. It's like between the tracks and the roads. It's just a little dip right there with the bulrushes, the cattails, and a little fire pit that somebody had built right there. You always know where to find it. It's right, the obvious spot. And I had my first Coors because right up the street there was a little store, and it was around the year when, what was it, Cannonball Run, was it, or whatever it was, where they're trying to ship Coors across the country because you couldn't get it back east. Anyway, so my first Coors was a quart of Coors drunk with a can of beans around a campfire. The beans were open star fashion, so they're just like a cartoon, Now, you called them bums, but they call each other bohos. not hobos. And it comes from Bo ho, because Bo being handsome,
Yeah.
you know, and of course it gets turned around in the vernacular and they became hobos. But they showed me, you know, how to hop the freights, and you know what? It's the best way in the world to ride, because you get a big room to your, well, not to yourself, but okay, granted, it's filthy
Yeah.
because cattle have spent a lot of time in some of them, or various things. And with the big open door, you get fresh air and dirt and whatever. But you know,
Free
and
room
you
and board, and you get to travel the country.
and they can put rails where they can't put highways. And so it's the most beautiful country you're going to see. It's just gorgeous. You're going across the desert. You see storms, you know, the lightning flashing out there on the desert. It's just wonderful. Well, one of the drawbacks, though, is you might get yourself what they call a flat wheeler, where the springs are gone. And so as you're riding, all of a sudden you discover that you're not going to have a very pleasant ride. So fortunately, it stopped for a little while on a curve, and looking across the curve, they signaled to a couple of guys in one of the other cars, whatever the symbol is, that, hey, is your ride smooth? And they said, come on over. So we ran across the bowstring of that bow and climbed into this other boxcar. Now, I'll show you how nice the bohos are. I'm sitting or standing now in this boxcar, and old Willie, remember Roger and Willie, they showed up? Well, Willie says, you might need this. And he hands me my wallet
Oh, boy.
that had fallen out in the desert between the two boxcars.
Oh.
And in it, well, had all of my traveler's checks, everything I
Your
owned,
life.
and my ID. And he
Wow.
handed it to me and said, yeah, you're going to need this. Thank you. And so, you know, I gave him $5. That's what I had available, is, you know, that I could pass across. But anyway, so that's pretty much my story. Oh, except that there was one place where up above the Feather River, there was one place where the train goes over itself, which is pretty cool. And then we're beside the Feather River, and one of the cars jumped the track. And so we screeched to a halt, and the brakemen walking by, they tell us what had happened and how they're going to have to go get, or they've called for a crane car to come in from up a little north. And they, so within a couple of hours, they had the car back on the tracks and going on its way down the road. But in the meantime, here we are, filthy, right beside the river. We went down, took a bath, and I had some of the freshest, cleanest, most delicious water from this fresh spring that was just a pipe pounded into the rocks there, that had a tin cup next to it. And we just, you know, it was a wonderful experience. And then we get to Stockton, and it's early in the morning, and Willie wakes me up. So, you're not going to want to be on this boxcar actually, Sacramento. You're not going to want to be here when it gets to Stockton, because Stockton used to be run by the bohos, but then they brought in a bunch of bulls, the cops and they'll beat the shit out of you if they find you. Okay, thank you very much for the information. So old Willie, he really helped me out there. So I went on down, stuck my thumb out again down on the 5, and continued on down to Hollywood.
Now,
Great.
with the new movie coming out here next week, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to do with that or not, but I mean,
I did.
they're using the mini puffs anyway as an homage to the original. What do you think about
I
it?
didn't. They did, but I didn't. But I did help build Slimer. You know, they sculpted, and they needed some fabrication work to make it hold up, because you know, you sculpt it and then it's a skin and it can be floppy. and depending on how you, actually the performer, dang it, I just saw his name. Horace Stunts is his handle, but I'm having trouble remembering his name. He used to be a jockey, and so when he's not thinking, well, Slimer is out like this, right?
Yeah.
But some of the time, the jockey takes over, and the elbows are in, and it's in small. So I made some pillows to go under his arm, so he couldn't bring it too tight. Anyway, and so to help maintain the proper Slimer position.
Well, my question was about like your
Yes.
the homage to the Stay Puft, we're using the mini puff.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
any personal thoughts about that? On kind of like a throwback to, it's giving the props to Stay Puft, but I mean, you feel kind of responsible for some of that.
Well, of course, I feel I'm proud to get to have it recreated, and because they're tiny, there's not another person inside of them, so I don't have to share the credit with anybody but Tony and Brad.
That's right. That's right. It's a CGI and everything.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the new movie. I like the last one.
Yeah, it should be.
Life.
I think they did a nice job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did what they had to do, and now they can move on with that and show us something cool.
I mean, it took a long time to tell the story, but I mean, we finally got something. And I'll take whatever I can get. Ghostbusters.
Yeah, what's 40 years between friends, right?
That's right. That's right. Mama T had a question about your book or
Yeah,
something.
I do. So I did read when I was stalking you,
Yes.
about you had a children's book or something, and you created creatures from that. How do we find this?
I've done it. Oh, right.
How do we find those?
Well, let's see. I tried to publish, and then that, sometimes you can be a little too brave. I mean, a little. Yeah. Oh, nobody's going to notice that his initials are KKK.
Oh God.
That's a thing of the past. Oh, really? Now again? Anyway, but then there's this other one. It's a dinosaur. It's actually a song. It's called Rampharinkus on the Run. That I haven't published that yet either. But that one, I don't think it has any offensive characters.
That's funny. Well, we like I said, we appreciate having you on. We don't want to take up too much more of your time, but for anybody that hasn't,
I've got one question.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's the marketing in me that wants to know if you've ever considered seriously Kraft Foods doing a Marshmallow Man edibles.
Or Cheech and Chong for that matter, right?
It was gotta sell a lot. Well, you gotta have some ingredients left out for the children.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you'd think that Peeps would do one, right?
Yeah.
That makes
There you go. At least then they're worth eating, for Pete's sake.
Please, not Peeps though. Peeps are terrible.
Yeah. Well, the problem though
no,
is that, at least for me, I don't own the character.
Sure.
I wore it, I built it, but it was Dan's idea. It's Sony's. Actually, one of the things that I've been trying to do is, when I go to events, what I'd like to do is get it. Every town has its own Ghostbusters group, and some of the members are musicians. Wouldn't it be cool? Picture this now. Maybe the Marshmallow Man and maybe just me doing Stay Puft related songs with, imagine a Ghostbuster band. The proton wands, the way you hold them, it looks a little guitar-like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's one of, actually, here's one of them. Ready? It's like, you're familiar with the stray cat strut, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Marshmallow, Stay Puft, stepping on a church. right? Ooh, wishing that he got a little piece of the merch. Ooh, he's a sailor in town, recently paid. This guy'll be fine if we just get him laid. It's a Stay Puft Strut. I'm a ladies' man, a candy Casanova. I'm as sweet as I can. The mean Ghostbusters with the proton throwers are trying their best to melt me into some more. Okay, so it goes on from there. That's not the only one. Then there's this one that's got the
It's not coming through.
Well, that's because of the audio.
oh, Marshmallow Man walking down the street says, "Why am I getting soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle when I should have been J. Edgar Hoover? I'm selling photo opportunities. I get a lot of attention. How'd I end up a cartoon at a monster convention? Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters, hair dogs in the moonlight, far away in the next block over, Mr. Marshmallow, Marshmallow. Get these mugs away from me. You know, crossing streams is not amusing anymore. I will be your Gozer God. You can be my longtime fan. You can call me Billy or Stay Puft when you call me the Marshmallow Man." And it goes on from there.
That's awesome. Took me a second to
Good stuff.
get which song it was, because
Yeah. Because we could hear you playing the harmonica because the way Zoom works with the audio.
Oh,
set.
I see.
But it's
I
okay
see.
though. It's okay.
So
Well,
it goes.
it works better to hum it.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go. There you go.
La 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 la.
Yeah, you can call me Al. That's right. Well, we appreciate your Bill.
Now, there's
you know,
things I
think
ought
it's
to
good
say.
for-
I realized that I need to say, look for me on Cameo and buy yourself a Cameo. Wouldn't that be nice? And also, actually, my son and I were getting ready to put together for a Patreon some lessons and how to build a Stay Puft suit. Because I get a lot of questions and I don't want to give it away,
Yeah.
you know, but I'd be willing to sell it. so you know, you can't afford a suit that I built. So, but I can show you how for a little price, you know.
Absolutely.
But look for also okay. So my Instagram is bill.staypuft. And let's see, what else was there? There's well,
You said you're coming
it'll
to
come up.
UFC, right?
You come to Sioux
Bill?
Falls, you said, right?
Ye-
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Bill. Yes, I will be there in Sioux Falls.
UFC.
Yes, yes, STAYPUFT.
And what time of the year is it? About fall or September?
Oh yeah, it's September 26th, I think. I will have just turned 70
Okay.
a week
Oh,
before.
okay, I'll be close to my 41st birthday. I might have to go down there. Is it like a big old Comic-Con in Sioux Falls?
I think it is that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it. I didn't know Sioux Falls did stuff like that.
I didn't either, but then
Only
here
about
it came.
5 hours north of that.
Yeah,
Are
we're
we
not
even
that
5
far,
hours
so.
north of
Yeah.
Sioux Falls? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we appreciate you, Bill, and thanks again for just taking the time to let us interview you. I mean, really.
Thank
Hey,
you.
sure, it's a pleasure.
We
Thanks,
really love
thanks
you.
so much for having me on, and
Oh,
hey, maybe we'll do it
absolutely.
again.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I skipped a lot of stories.
Well, we could talk to you for
Yes.
hours, I'm sure. So I think this is where we'll end it for this week. If anybody else has anything else that they want, I mean, we can end it here. So that's all for this week's episode of Renegade Radio. We'll see you next week when we got animator Dave Alvarez coming from Puerto Rico.
Oh.
He's gonna be he does some Ghostbuster animations as we continue our celebration of the movies. So we'll
I
see
didn't
you
realize
next time.
that's where Dave was. Okay, cool.
Puerto Rico.
All right, thanks
Right,
a lot.
everybody.
Pleasure to meet y'all.
See you
Cheers.
next time.
Bye. Thank you.